cope with life. We
Just like
live life,
we,
and that's
yeah,
how we cope.
absolutely. And also just with my genetic background, bees are hypersensitive to sugar, and they had an understanding that the indigenous here had a sensitivity, didn't have an enzyme. So what is perceived to be addiction to alcohol is just an allergy that has a really good feeling. So bees are hypersensitive to it. And we know we have a high concentration of A bees in the United States and throughout Central and South America. So, that having an understanding of someone's genetic makeup, like you said, being able to study and know how different groups react to certain kind of social ideology or type of control systems helps because you can control them. If you can't control them from the outer perimeters, you can control them from the inner.
The most functional. You ever see Drink Champs?
What is it? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know that's an ancient cultural phenomenon. When we went from, we used to use the peace pipe and the herb, but
Yes.
when the settlers came, we started using alcohol
Mm,
in negotiations so we can find
yeah,
out what they really want.
yes, yes. I've heard that. Yes.
Yeah. So the Drink Champs was the retread of the powwow circle when we smoked the herb, because you can't sit there and smoke herb with somebody and then they sit there and tell you a bald faced lie without knowing they lying,
That's right.
right? But they say a drunk man speak what?
The truth.
A sober man,
Never mind. Yes, yes. Yeah.
right? So they say if you want the truth, listen to babies and drunk folks.
That is so true. You'll always get the truth from the young and Mhm.
But the settlers came was originally heavily melanated Europeans.
Mhm.
Those people that we call Native Americans with the Genghis Khan blood, the Siberians,
The Mongolian. Yeah, the Mongolians. Yeah.
go back to who Rome was fighting.
Hold on. My dog's there. Hey, chill. My wolves. Hold on. My wolf privates. They're out of control. Chill out. But it's okay. They're probably seeing the Insepticons outside. Hold on. Come on. Good girl. Over there. Okay. Sorry about that.
Mm. Okay, so they brought their servants with them. The history books say they brought servants with them.
Mhm.
They also numbered the servants they was bringing with them. The Trail of Tears was after King George put a military buffer zone between West Florida and East Florida.
Okay. Okay.
Right. In West Florida, what we call it today, Louisiana,
Mhm.
they fighting the French.
That's right.
In East Florida, they fighting the Spanish.
That's right.
The English, King George, inserts his military between them because we was going south and east to support the Gullah Wars. Then we stumbled across the Huguenot Wars, the French. So we begin to concentrate our forces in the South. This is why most of us can trace directly south.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then some of the ones of us that can trace south can trace back bloodline a very long time on the land, pre-Columbian, if you want to know. Like
Absolutely.
Chief Warhorse, for example.
Yeah.
She got a family history dating back like 13,000 years,
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful.
right? So that means that she was here long before Columbus came.
My tribe
Her
is from
bloodline was here.
Arabia. We were there in Caribs where we were there way before.
Now,
Yeah.
if we remembered our culture, we would have knew that all of the South was populated with family farms from distant tribes, and they would all make pilgrimage
That's
to
right.
Big Mama house
Hmm.
for the cookouts and the harvest festivals that they monetized and turned into holidays.
Yes, yes. My grandmother would
Right.
tell me, yeah, we have the in the Caribbean, we went to the South and we did a lot of exchanges, even exchange with marriages, like we intermated, within the tribes. Yeah.
And most of our marriages was appointments. They wasn't this European romance story that ain't gonna never come true?
No.
Because most of us don't know it's talking about a man and a boy and it got nothing to do with no women.
Hmm.
But they just paint them up in the modern stories and tell it to us like women involved. So the elemental Q community ain't new. We've been chasing drag queens across the land since they got here. Talking about a drag race.
Good, Monkey King. Bring
Half of the first ladies was drag
first,
queens.
first man.
I
Mm.
don't think
Balls of
they
mass,
first. They
balls.
might be.
You lift up the skirt like balls of mass destruction. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Woohoo! Mm.
Look, Barbara Bush name was Big Buddy.
Oh, I don't say. Woo!
The
She.
only ones I think was married to a woman that I
Oh,
was
Kennedy.
JFK,
Yeah, Kennedy. Hmm.
Ronnie,
Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
and um
I still
Howard
like.
the Duck,
Which one?
Donald the Duck.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Millennia. Even though I think she's an insectilian, but just a little bit of that hybrid in her, covering her eyes.
You think she a what?
She's an insectilian. She looks like a bug.
No, she's Pleiadian.
She's got the pheromones on him. She's like like shh, blowing it on him. She's controlling that house. That's why he's orange. He got an insect, probably stinging the hell out of him. Got
And he called him Agent Orange in the CIA for his negotiation tactics.
wow.
Now, if you pay attention, they tell you who they're gonna throw him on. Hillary is Evergreen.
Oh, she's diabolical. The baby peeler, the baby face peeler.
Mhm. What's the Evergreen?
It's a tree.
Yeah.
The tree.
Okay. And then you remember you have the Bushes.
Oh, you're like giving me like brain orgasms.
Go back to the Vietnam War. They couldn't get to the enemy. They couldn't drain the swamp of the Viet Cong because the thicket of the trees and the brush, the bushes, was too thick.
Yeah, it's
And the
very,
only thing they needed something that would incinerate it.
that was Agent Orange.
Agent Orange.
And my mother was a special ed teacher, and she actually had students in her classroom that's fathers were in Vietnam, and the children had all kinds of weird
Messed
mutations.
up stuff.
Yeah.
That's because they wasn't just using Agent Orange. They was using um, radioactive chemicals as well. In
Oh,
a period.
yeah.
It used to be a video. We used to talk about it when back in the 80s called A Shock in Asia.
Say it again.
It was called A Shock in Asia.
Oh,
You ever heard of Faces of Death?
well, we know of Generation X. We used to watch that as young people.
Right.
The young people would be mortified that that was our entity.
The Shock in Asia was about all of the weird stuff they do over there.
Oh, was it on Faces of Death?
It was
Oh,
something
okay.
like that around that
Okay.
time.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the Faces of Death. That was the stuff. I watched all three
The
of them
guy who
like a
came out,
thousand times a piece.
we watched it. Remember the guy who came out of the plane and he got eaten by the alligators?
Oh
Just
yeah,
I'm sorry, y'all. It's morbid. That's why we're the way we are.
those Sobek priests, the
That was
ones who used to charm the alligators, was called Sobek priests.
Sobek priest.
You still got tribes in Africa, and you still got pockets in South America and in Louisiana where the old man come out, he might slap or something. Hey, yo, come on over here, Gators.
No, yeah, they don't even in South America with the caiman, which are like little alligators, the little capybaras, they're so cute, like big rats. The capybara, 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 capybara. I love this song. Capybara, capybara, capybara. Those little capybaras are like sitting on alligators. Alligators on the caiman don't bite them. And there were people who swim with them. Who in the Gully, wasn't it the Gully? Which tribe in the Mississippi? They used to, the brown indigenous were swimming with them. They were,
You know what stopped it, don't you?
wait, say it again?
You know how they stopped it, right? They
By
started
feeding
gator
the
baiting our
babies.
children.
Yeah, they start putting the babies and tell
And
them that
that's
it's meat.
what made them have a taste for our flesh because they wouldn't eat us.
That's right.
But they eat a stranger that don't belong over here because his scent is different.
Hmm.
But the ones from here, they didn't eat us.
They didn't.
We was literally one with nature.
Hmm. Like in Avatar, like in
Yeah.
Avatar, really,
We had treehouse villages.
which I plan to live in eventually.
Mhm. You never had to come down to the ground for nothing.
I want.
They had life figured out how to live in the treetops. Shout out to the treetop Hyrule.
Well, but the trees also pheromonically, like even the things that they did, the way that they uh created fruit. The fruit actually was when it grew, it actually grew every single nutrient that was specific to the certain people living there. We were
Yeah,
symbiotic with the trees.
yeah. Well, you remember when we used to use the bathroom, we used to use the bathroom under the tree,
That's right. That's right. Because
right?
it was eat fruit. We were eating more natural and organic too. Yeah.
The the soil then has your energy signature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Same way you
It's,
pee in your garden to keep, I mean, to
yeah.
keep that instinct.
And where you lacking that, Mother Nature adjusts the fruit to match your biology.
Mm-hmm.
That's why mass slaughter was prohibited.
Mm,
We didn't slaughter animals that we didn't have a relationship with.
it's true.
And they understood that they was there, what they was there for to feed the people. So we didn't mass slaughter nothing, but we use every part of everything that we killed.
Everything, the antlers, and also gave honor, even now with my children, give honor to every animal that we engage with for the
Yeah.
life that was given, and it wasn't a sacrifice that was in vain.
You know, that's where the
Mhm.
culture come from.
Yes, absolutely.
All of the earth tribes would honor what they kill before they eat it.
Mhm. Kosher and the what is it? The what's the other one? The Islamic one?
Halal.
Halal, halal, and kosher. Hmm. And they don't mix the milk of the mother with the flesh of the child, which is parv. You separate even in the fridge of Jewish people, you separate the milk, any dairy from any of the flesh, even the utensils. It's an energetic thing. Yeah.
But really, the only the livestock they have now, the bovine beef, to use it from bison fat,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the fat of
Ghee,
the lamb.
ghee, yeah, and tallow, which I
Mhm.
still use. And we're not supposed to use like oils uh um like oils like saturated oils. Like those oils are block the arteries, and a lot of
Yeah.
the oils is toxic when you cook it, when you warm it up. It changes
We
out
used,
chemically.
we used to
Yeah.
use a lot of whale oil too.
Mm-hmm. 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 Way different. Yeah.
They
Everything.
done decimated the whales.
Do you imagine, even with the story of the buffalo, that when they killed all the buffalo, which was the main source of food and nourishment for specific tribes, I mean, just to think of how heinous these beings were who came over here, who did that. And there's been no
You got to remember why they said they did it. Then you know your culture, and then you can look at the background and see why they really did it. They said for every bison they killed one of us.
That reminds me of Avatar. Remember when they killed the whale and it was a
Mhm.
symbiotic with the women? It was like they were siblings. Oh, that gave me a
Yeah.
shock.
So we had what's known as the Bison Clan became known as Buffalo Soldiers.
Mm,
They
buffaloes.
make fun of them in the TV show called The Flintstones.
Did they? Wait, they did?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I gotta see because I watch the Flintstones. Oh, you're gonna teach me something today, or many things today, right?
Yeah. They make this is the Bison Clan in satire.
Holy cow!
They got a whole bunch. The old Mississippians, they call them the Big Red Brute. That's in a different cartoon.
Yeah. Oh my
Then
God.
in the ones that the rapping Indians
Hmm.
that don't nobody know what he's saying but the chief, that was an underdog. They was call them the Gopher Indians. Now we don't know what they was making fun of us for until we look back in retrospect.
Hmm. Hmm.
The scout chief, because he had one feather, that means he was in training. He was sabotaging the European forces. He would talk in front of the European forces. He would be rapping and pop locking. So they don't know what he's saying. But the old chief with the full headdress sitting there listening to him rapping, and when he come back, he say, "What's the plan you got?"
Holy cow! I didn't know. Didn't know. Wow.
Yeah. So they've made fun of us ad nauseum in the cartoons.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Um, as we're talking about that and we're going forward into the new administration, let me ask you a question. I don't know if you saw, did you see the inauguration or no?
I didn't watch it.
Okay. There's a part when Trump was going to put his hand, there was like two Bibles, two books. You know how with president, the pooping president, the
Mm,
previous
yeah.
non-president, where he didn't even he put on a satanic ritualistic book, obviously. This
Good
time,
more.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Trump's wife was carrying two books. One, I think it was they explain as like an old Bible of the family, another one on top. This time, when he originally made when he did become president in the previous administration, he put his hand on the Bible. This time he didn't. What do you think? Why do you think he didn't?
Can't swear in twice. They was they hired Kamala to fail miserably. That's her job.
Well, and also to cosplay brown women, so it brings more uh, of a lower, perceiving brown women to be, you know, cooking greens in the bathtub, being, acting like a buffoon, just basically spoofing brown women. It's disgusting.
Yes. Anyway, so
I'm sorry.
he already is holding the office. The Biden administration gave them a 4-year extension to close out the corporation,
Mm,
right? The first thing he did was 50 executive orders. Why
mm.
the number 50?
That five is for change. That's a five, but I don't know why 50. 50 was it reminiscent of the stars or
It's 50 is the final flip. It's only 50 seats on the council. 50 is the final flip, the final seat.
mm,
I'm big 50. GD Prairie Dog, 4850. Knocked off 49 on the Pepe Le Pew, Pepper from the Pews.
holy cow. Okay.
So, so when you get to the final flip,
Hmm.
everything accelerates.
As we see, yeah. Now, question before you go further. Why is he doing the deeds of, I call them the Daros, but or rather the Israel? Why is he doing the bidding of Israel and not taking the stance of like saying that he would take over their lands? And also, why is he sitting with Netanyahu without any consequence or anything? Even though there was a little bit of dissension, which was like, which we saw, even though it looked like it was clean, there was a little bit of there was some micro hostility showing up when they sat together. What do you think about that?
You know, you know who Vanessa Williams was, right?
Of course.
Miss America.
Yes.
Joe Montana was playing his last big game, and they played her song "Save the Best for Last," and he came out in clown. And ain't time to deal with that right now.
Mm,
Create a compelling spectacle. Polarize the people. Confuse your enemy.
I understand. I
Those
understand.
people who's pretending to be Jews in Gaza and the West Bank in this makeshift country called Israel are
Mhm.
Ukrainians.
Yes, yes,
Before they were called Ukrainians, they was called Khazarians.
yes. Khazars, which are converts from Eastern Russia and Poland and Ukraine.
Right. That's different than the Sephardi.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Those are a different group of people. Them the ones saying that they Jews for Palestine
I
because they don't agree with this
Yes,
Khazarian
they don't. And they're
BS.
very strong about it. Even in Brooklyn over on Carroll Street, they've been protesting. They're not for it. No.
And, and a lot of them will flat out tell you those are not Jews, those
Oh,
are
they say it.
Zionists.
Yeah. Well, we have friends who are,
We
we have a friend who's there and she's like, we don't associate with them. We want them to leave. Yeah,
Yeah, those are Zionists. Zionists are a different group of people.
they are.
Those
Genetic.
are those are the byproducts of the concubines of the Moors when it was Prussia.
Speak, Rod.
During the Prussian rule, this was dismantled by Tsar Nicholas, which made them take over Russia with the Bolshevik Revolution,
Yes. Yes.
right?
And they got an alternative.
Vladimir Lenin set it off. Stalin furthered the agenda,
Mhm.
and Gorbachev tore down the wall.
That's right.
This is a stage show, political satire,
Mm.
theatrical performance of political elites that don't have no real power playing out a monopoly game.
Woo! Using everybody else as their pawns.
And as long as you don't know that you're being played, they're gonna keep playing you until you can't be played no more.
That's right. Absolutely.
Those people got their day coming. If he tell them people from that's really Palestinians to leave the West Bank, if I was them, I'd leave.
Mm.
Because who you leaving behind?
Mm-hmm.
X marks the spot.
Ooh, clear this